Today we're going to be talking about MDaudit Enterprise and all of the different things we can do. We're going to start out with introductions. So my name is Cheryl and I'm joined today by Dana Finnegan, a product expert here at Hayes. Together we're going to be sharing with you a high-level overview of the MDaudit Enterprise solution. And we only have about 30 minutes together. So if you like what you see and you want to see more, please request a customized demonstration using the chat window or on our website. Before we show you the platform itself, I'd like to tell you a little bit more about how it works. MDaudit is a modular solution, so you can choose which components of the platform make the most sense for your business. MDaudit Enterprise ingests your pre-bill or post-bill claims and remit data automatically. It can use data from providers and hospitals, and once ingested, it gets used in many ways. The auditing workflow is the main engine and provides a workflow solution for auditors, billing compliance, and HIM. These workflows allow staff to audit E&M charges, inpatient services, coder performance, assess risk, and create overviews of the findings. Charges can be reviewed either pre or post-claim submission, allowing organizations to do both prospective and retrospective audits. The charge analyzer is what makes MDaudit stand out by providing insights and anomaly detection through dashboards and reports that allow all the departments using MDaudit to provide advanced analytics and feedback to providers and coders to help improve documentation. And our revenue optimizer focuses on providing denials insights and identifying opportunities to avoid future denials. And the goal of all the modules is to identify anomalies and problems and provide the reporting and the insights to educate and enable corrective action, all leading to a healthier revenue cycle. MDaudit Enterprise impacts the revenue cycle in a few places. It enables prospective auditing to allow auditors to catch billing or coding errors before the claim is submitted, which helps to speed up reimbursement and improve that cash flow. You can use MDaudit to gain insights into the reasons for denials, allowing you to avoid them moving forward. And the retrospective auditing tool allows you to take a risk-intelligent approach to auditing so you can be more effective and efficient. And most importantly, MDaudit allows you to identify areas of compliance and revenue risk and provides the tools to help you educate so you can enable improvement moving forward. So the last thing I want to mention before we take a look at the product is the technology platform. We are data experts, which means not only do we know how to get the data you need quickly, we're also able to do it securely. Users of MDaudit no longer need to wait for files to be pulled. The data is automatically ingested regularly. MDaudit can use both provider and hospital data, and with our optimized cloud-based technology, you're able to access it instantly and securely. But you don't have to take our word for it. MDaudit is HITRUST certified, proving that we have met key regulation and industry-defined requirements. So let's dive in.
Thanks, Cheryl. I'm just going to get my screen set up here. Okay, folks, thanks for joining us this afternoon. As Cheryl said, I want to walk you through really why we feel MDaudit Enterprise is a premier platform, premier billing compliance, revenue integrity, HIM platform that uses powerful workflows and analytics and reporting that can bring your auditing program to the next level. So I'm going to start off with really the core competency of the tool, which is allowing you to completely automate your audit process. So I've got some audits built here for a DRG audit, as well as an audit for Dr. Finnegan. I think we're going to look at Dr. Finnegan today. I think what we want to show you is, this is a platform that's going to be able to do prospective and retrospective audits in this same workflow that I'm showing you for a pro fee audit for Dr. Finnegan. Will be the same process you can use to audit coders and also do facility audits, both inpatient and outpatient. So very pliable way to create your audits. The first thing you're really going to do is put in dates of service of the time frame you'd like your audit to be for. This could be go back a year, could go back 5 years, it could go back the day before. Because we're automatically ingesting all of your claims data and remit data, it doesn't matter to us. It's very real time. You're also, after you put in your dates of service, you have every option to choose a claim type. I'm going to do a pro fee claim today. because I'm going to do a provider audit, but hospital could be chosen to do your facility inpatient and outpatient audits. And maybe when you're auditing coders on that side of the house too, although you can also use our professional workflow to audit coders. So again, it's going to apply to all chart types for your audits. So I'm going to stick with the pro fee claim type, and then I'm going to create a rule. And this is really simple to do. This is you telling the system exactly what you want to audit, and the system will find that for you in just a few seconds. So I said, show me all CPTs that are between 99,211 and 99,215, and with a modifier is equal to 25. There's many conditions you can use. We would train you on how to use the right conditions. And to create that rule, you're just going to use drop downs. And what I'm kind of scrolling through right now is everything and anything that can be billed on a professional claim. If I had chosen the hospital claim type, you would see choices like DRGs and POAs and ICD diagnosis codes, procedure codes. Again, this drop down will represent everything and anything that can be billed on a claim. So you saw that I chose certain CPTs, and when they were billed with a modifier 25, but this is exactly where you could go in and also say, show me when that was billed by the rendering NPI of 123, or the rendering name of Dr. Finnegan. Or maybe you want to go in and tell me when that was coded by Dana Finnegan, or just do a coder audit. So again, really big importance on building your shells, audit shells, is that everything here that is billed out on, again, you know, the 1500 claim form or the UB04 or their electronic equivalents of the 837I and P will reside in this list. Once you're done telling the system exactly what you want to audit, you can hit these arrows. And I think this is important. I usually don't hover here, but you're seeing these arrows churn, and it's looking for all the claims that meet the criteria you've asked for. And you can see that populated really quick. Reason why that's important to see is because that is going to completely eliminate any manual processes you have. You'll never have to ask for data again. You'll never get an ugly spreadsheet from IT. You'll never have to go to IT and ask for claims data again or samples. It's just going to be right at your fingertips. And once it returns that claim data to you, in, again, just a few seconds, you can put in your sample size, whatever you think is appropriate. I put in 25. And that sample size that MDaudit will provide to you is very similar to how RATstats does their randomization. And then once you're done with that, you're going to hit Save Changes, and you're going to be returned in another couple of seconds your 25 truly randomized claims you now need to start to audit. And again, this will work for the hospital side of the house as well. And I know that went by fast, but that's why. It went by fast, because that's how simple it is to get to your audits. Again, at the end of the day, we want you, the auditors and people in billing compliance, to not worry about data, just worry about the audits. So now you have an opportunity to go into those claims and append your findings, what you agree with, what you disagree with, etc. And the good news is, as you go in and append your findings, MDaudit will capture all of that in a report you can share with your physicians and coders post-audit. So I'm just going to go in and show you how easy it is. I'm going to agree with those first few diagnosis codes. I'm also going to say that that modifier 25 was appropriate and the annual wellness visit was appropriate. But I'm going to go in and say, this just had no documentation. So I'm going to go and remove that row. It's going to show me what was billed, and I'm going to put in an audit finding of no documentation and some commentary I want my provider and or coders to see. And save that, and it's going to cross it out. You can do a lot more than agree and just remove stuff. You can actually edit as well. So if you go in and see something that, you know, just didn't have the appropriate documentation or needed to be more specific, you can put that in. It'll show you the build value, and you can put in G47.01 as more specific. You can then put in an audit finding as to why you're disagreeing, and put in some comments from our library. So again, folks, what we want you to see is very easy just to get to the data and append your audit findings. And on top of this, at least from the Profi side, they're on the hospital side as well. We have E&M worksheets, which will help you decide what the leveling is. We have the 95 guidelines, 97 guidelines, and 2021 guidelines that will help you with that leveling decision. And this will become incredibly important with all of the 2021 E&M mandates. So keep that in mind. We also have some really powerful E&M worksheets in the platform. And finally, one other thing I'd like to show is we also have risk area worksheets. These are going to be a massive library of what we find the OIG is scrutinizing, down to NCDs and LCDs, MLN matters. This is going to allow you to go in and find things like annual wellness visit worksheets, telehealth worksheets, in this case, critical care, all in the spirit of helping you make the decisions you need to make. Again, auditing aids that will help you make decisions on all of those things being scrutinized by the OIG and other industry standard bodies. So really just wanted to show you that we're going to get you to the data, allow you to audit it very seamlessly, and also have some very powerful auditing aids from the workflow. Just going to also really quickly show you one other thing here is we don't want to, I've been saying, oh, we do the inpatient and outpatient side of the house. Well, we do. So I'm going to show you how that applies on the hospital side and if you're doing any coder audits. So the same principle will apply, except you're going to choose the hospital claim type. And I just decided to ask for things that reside on the inpatient side, like certain sepsis DRGs. And when the CC MCC count was greater than 3, because I really wanted to pull in very acute patients, very sick patients. And that's still going to return to me my case list, my 25 truly randomized claims. Only difference here is you're going to be looking at an inpatient claim. It's also going to give you the CCs and MCCs with visual indicators. And you can go in and make those same changes on the hospital side, possibly changing this, not having a mechanical vent to actually having a mechanical vent, and save that. So same process on the inpatient and outpatient side. And of course, we're still going to have those worksheets on the inpatient, outpatient side, like TAVR, Watchman, Tube, Midnight Rule, those auditing aids you really need to make those tough decisions. One final thing, we talked about auditing coders. So our system has the kind of magic and intelligence to match up the claims with who coded them. So you can easily go to the extra fields and see exactly who the coder was that coded this claim. And whenever you disagree with something the coder does, that will automatically send that disagreement to the coder to do a rebuttal. Really review what you've done, any comments you've made as to why you've made changes, and allows the coder to have dialogue with you. So the platform will also engender not only the coder audits, but that rebuttal process that's super important. So claims are always billed with the highest level of accuracy and integrity. So what I'd want you to take away from that, folks, is really great workflows to get you auditing effectively, streamlining the process, making you more productive and efficient. And again, that they apply to Profi, hospital inpatient and outpatient, provider audits, coder audits, you name it, we can accommodate it. So the next part of this that we want to talk about is, okay, you've got the workflows. What can you do in terms of analytics? So analytics is going to be the part of the platform Cheryl referenced called the Charge Analyzer. And we're going to start here, E&M bell curves. So what MDaudit Enterprise can do is ingest all of your providers' billing on a daily basis, ingest it, strip off the E&Ms, and then place your providers along this continuum. And what it will tell you is any of your providers down here are most likely your habitual undercoders in leaving revenue on the table. And any of your providers up here are most likely your habitual overcoders in exposing your organization to risk or takebacks. And providers in the middle are doing just fine with their coding. And the way MDaudit Enterprise can make that decision for you is to compare it to, you can compare your providers to 2 different data sources. CMS National, what CMS considers normal E&M leveling patterns. And you can compare your providers to MDaudit National, and that will compare your providers to all of the other providers that are being audited in our system by specialty. So we have a really powerful benchmark, and CMS doesn't update their data as much as we would like them to. So MDaudit National is key in looking to find who your at-risk provider population is. So the beauty of this is we'll tell you, again, who your overcoders are and undercoders. But the next part of this is we're going to place all of those suspected overcoders and undercoders on a risk areas dashboard. So what this will do is list out, again, all of your providers suspected of overcoding and undercoding. And it's also going to weight them, because we know if you've got 50 providers that are at risk, you may only have the resource to see the top 10. So you're going to want to hit the 6s first and the 3s and 2s last. It's just a level of egregiousness. So this is Dr. Finnegan. He's a urologist, very high weight. And from here, you can go in and look at an information card, and it's going to tell you he's struggling with the 214s. Looks like he's overbilling them. It's going to show you the amount of charges that have gone out to the payers. That's a huge indication of risk. And then he's 2.0 standard deviations over the normative mean. And you can make that be CMS. You can make that be the MDaudit community. Just telling you, you really got to look at him. You can see an information card. You can pivot back to an E&M bell curve. These are going to be super important when you're meeting with your physicians. Be able to show them their bell curve and why they may be aberrating from the norm. So you'll get the bell curves with both the comparison internally at your organization as well as externally to the MDaudit community. And the final beauty of this is you can do all of that, but right from here, you can create an audit. And that is going to launch you back into that workflow that we saw before, where you can choose your with internal audit, put your name in as the primary auditor, and in just a click, it's going to launch you back to that rule, but the system's already defaulted in. You need to look at the 214s for that provider. Simply hit the arrows. It will find that data for you, and again, launch you back to the workflow so you can have immediate access to those 10 at-risk claims. So again, folks, more analytics that'll point out your E&M risk, overcoders and undercoders, and allow you to audit them under the same roof. Another part of the analytics that we want to show you is metrics. So we know E&Ms are important, but what about the procedures? What about the DRGs? What about those high-risk things that OIG is scrutinizing? So you're seeing a metrics dashboard. And what this is going to do, particularly on the inpatient and outpatient side, facility side, is going to tell you where you're having billing anomalies. We've got the entire PEPA report built in. We have OIG metrics built in, and we won't go into too much detail here, but what it can do again is prowl through your data and tell you for this PEPA metric, excisional debridements, this is basically telling our client that over the last 12 months, they've only been doing 10% of excisional debridements when they expected to be doing 30%. So this is showing a huge dip in the amount of that procedure being done. This is going to tell them this could be a coding issue. This could be a documentation issue. It's certainly revenue leakage. And what they're going to be able to do is drill in and get immediate access to all of those claims, take a sample size, and then again, create an audit. And that will bring this into the workflow so the auditor can make an informed decision about why that excisional debridement service has gone down so much. This will do not only PEPA metrics, but things the OIG is scrutinizing, like vents over 96 hours. And we also have built in some fabulous quality metrics, like readmission rates within 30 days. This is showing our client that over the last 12 months, pneumonia readmission rate was only 3%. It spiked up to 33%. Something's going on here. It needs to be scrutinized. So what I want you to take away from this part of the analytics is not only will we show you E&M risk, But on the facility inpatient and outpatient side, great OIG content, quality measures, et cetera, to show where your organization may be really having some issues with some of those metrics that we know are being scrutinized. And again, all of this can be relating back to even who coded it. What coder was responsible for these debridements? So we've talked about workflow, we've talked about analytics. What about reporting? Reporting, so let's go into that. What the system's able to do is look at everything you're auditing: inpatient, outpatient, physician audits, coder audits, HCC audits, whatever it may be, and give you some really great insights. So this one's showing you accuracy rates over the last 6 months by field. You're looking at DRGs and modifiers and POAs and CPTs, diagnoses. And what the system's doing is saying, based on your audit activity, you've got a lot of green. That's good. There's a lot of agreement here. But wherever you see lower accuracy rates, like this 92%, it's for diagnoses, you may want to go into where it's, where you've disagreed with the diagnoses and drill down to maybe facility. What facility is having the biggest issue with diagnoses? Or maybe what attending providers? And for those that are doing coder audits, tell me the coder's name that's struggling with this. And you can drill down to coder name. I'm just going to massage that a little bit. And it's going to tell you, this is your coder that is having the most amount of issues with diagnoses. And that could apply to providers, et cetera. So drill down, not only tell you there's an issue, but drill down to root cause. Other things like E&M accuracy rate over the last 6 months looks fabulous, but then goes down really bad in this last month to 50%. So maybe you want to drill down to the rendering provider by name. You do that, it's going to tell you you want to really concentrate on this provider. So there's a lot of statistics we're going to provide you with, not only E&M accuracy, but procedural based accuracy. If you're looking at procedures with those E&Ms, again, fabulous rates here of agreement. But these colors will give you more. 6% of that is missed revenue. That's important. You're going to want to hone in on the missed revenue and where that's happening, what departments. So really great reporting with it as well. And we're also going to give you other things on the inpatient side, outpatient side, pro-fee side. Other really great reporting that's going to allow you to really brag about what you're unearthing and finding. It's going to show you things like, here are my top 10 E&M codes that I'm disagreeing with. And the colors will tell you why. Most of them are undercoded one level. And again, ability to drill down to rendering provider. This will show you top 10 missed procedures. That's going to be super important. As you're going through audits and you're finding procedures that are documented but not billed, you're not only finding billing compliance issues, but enhancing revenue if these can be rebilled. Just about 40 to 50 pin boards right out of the box, top 10 CPTs and DRGs with the largest overpayments and underpayments. So really fabulous reporting. So all of this reporting, you're going to want to kind of go into a meeting and show it to folks. So you can put it in a PDF, but you can also present it. So if you want to walk in and say, look, my auditing program, we're finding a lot. You can walk in and scroll through. And if anyone has a question, top 10 CPT, largest underpayment, what department, what facility, you can drill down to that and answer that question right away. So folks, what we really wanted to have you understand today in looking at the platform is we want to provide you with not only the workflows, the analytics, and the reporting to bring your compliance program, your revenue integrity program to the next level. And again, I can't underscore enough that all of these workflows that you saw today can apply on the pro-fee side when you're auditing physicians or coders, and on the inpatient and outpatient side, high-risk DRGs, revenue codes. You can even get down to, at the line level, HCCs as well, CCs, MCCs, and of course, the ability to go in and audit your coders as well. So one-stop shop for analytics, reporting, and workflows to really put your program into hyperdrive. So Would love to show you more. We just don't have the time, and I know you folks are busy too. So I'm going to turn it over to Cheryl just to do some wrap up, and I know we're going to do some Q&A as well.
Thank you so much, Dana. It was really great. I love seeing our platform. If anybody has any questions, we've got a few minutes left where we can take those. If you look at your Zoom toolbar, you should see a Q&A button. You can click those and send those into you. Like I said, we will send out this recording later. And you're always welcome if you have questions at any time to reach out to us using that email that you get that thank you email from, or just give us a call. Let's see, what's our first question for today? Does MDaudit allow me to do auditor Q&A?
Actually, yeah, I meant to show that. So it does. Whenever you create an audit and you go into audit a physician or coder, there's a little drop down that allows the primary auditor of that case to assign it to a person to QA that's on your staff, and it will end up in that person's work queue. So it's very easy to pass an audit the primary auditor is doing to a secondary auditor or QA auditor, all within that workflow. So you can work together on making decisions. So the answer to that is yes.
Great. Another question. How often does the system take in claims data?
So the system takes in claims data every day, and that's important. You'll never be doing, sporadic stagnant audits with stagnant data. We take in your data and our other clients' data every day. So the benchmarking and the metrics and the audits you do are going to be almost a real-time experience. So it's every day.
Great. And I know we're not in the system. Somebody had asked, where can we see the HCC risk calculator?
Yes. So the HCCs, what you're able to do in the platform is audit HCCs. And those HCCs, we'd have to find out a little bit more about risk calculator, but those HCCs you'll have the ability to see the weights of those HCCs and see if those are going up and down, which will obviously affect the overall risk adjustment factor scores. I think that's where that question's coming from. So when you do HCC audits, we'll also let you know if that overall weight is going up or down, which will be super important to the RAF.
Okay. And the person who asked that, if you need a little more clarification, we can touch base with you after the webinar.
And MDaudit does calculate financial impact when you touch claims, so we'll want to talk a little bit more about that.
Yep. Great. Well, it looks like those are all the questions. So I want to thank everybody for joining us today. Again, reach out if you'd like to get a more customized demonstration. This was very, very high level, but there's a lot of features of the system that we didn't have time to go through. And a lot of things that, you might have cases where you want to say, this is how we do things. How does MDaudit fit in? So thank you very much for joining us, and I hope everybody has a great day.